Common sense isn't gone. It just needs a comeback. Common Sense Superheroes with David and Greg. Common Sense.
Pretty little thing, let me light your candle, cause I'm sure on the honey now, mess around. That we'll get into in a little bit. But first, this is episode 38 of the Common Sense Superheroes. I'm your host, David. Across from me is the bearded one, Greg, 38. I got 138 in mind. I'm sure you got a bulldog in mind that perhaps, but I'll let you go first.
Yeah, when thinking about the number 38, and it's another one of those I didn't come up with a lot of like well-known or nothing popped into my mind, but I remember back, I want to say it was January around 2008 in the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans. And I can tell you one guy who wishes he had never seen a number 38 Georgia jersey was Colt Brennan, because they kept lighting everybody up all that 2007 season, went undefeated, and all we heard about for 5 daggum weeks was how Colt Brennan and the Hawaii Rainbows were going to light us up. And number 38, from about the third snap of the game, Marcus Howard dominated that Hawaii offensive line and was in Colt Brennan's face all day. Colt Brennan will never want to see a number 38 again after what Marcus Howard did to him. God bless Marcus Howard for being a damn good dog and just dominating that Sugar Bowl.
I think you brought up that just so you can get into Hawaii Rainbows with it being Pride Month. I think there's a correlation there. Colt Brennan put up some crazy numbers. He did, for sure. And I don't blame him for wanting to go to Hawaii and play. I get it. And I believe June Jones was the coach then, who's a former Falcons coach. They had a squad, but it's different when you play in big boy football. You
It
letting
was
it air out.
It was one of those times, and I'll admit, East Coast bias, all the things. I was unsure how that matchup was gonna play out. Every part of me, SEC pride, the South homer, like I wanted to go in that believing, okay, we're big boys, they're not. It'll be what it was. But there was part of me that was a little skeptical because man, them brothers been slinging it around the field. Colt Brennan
Big
was
play
throwing for
potential was
400
there.
bills a game.
Yeah.
And there was part of me that just go, man, I have seen what they have done to people. They've carved up defensive all year long. But it was one of those rare occasions in sports where I kid you not, literally from about the second or third snap, you could just tell, oh, this is not going to be pretty. Like you could tell our athletes were a different caliber of athlete than their athletes were. And it played out like that. I don't even know that Colt Brennan got hurt. I think he just decided he didn't want to play anymore. I don't know if the second stringer was having any damn fun. It was domination in the Superdome that night.
It's kinda like when Arch Manning a couple of years, was it last year before last, when they started dominating on them. They brought in Arch to try to do something, and he looked terrified going against that Georgia defense. But Colt Brennan and them, like you said, all it takes is 3 or 4 big plays to happen and they turn the game around, but it did not. 38 for me. If I say bloody sock, Greg, what do you think of?
Kurt Schilling.
Curt Schilling, the great Curt Schilling, Boston Red Sox pitcher who there's been some conspiracy theories about that sock maybe being fake and all that. Say what you will, when it came playoff time, he's outspoken nowadays, a little political, so he doesn't get looked at the same light as others might. But Curt Schilling in playoff time, I'll take him. Sign me up for that.
That was one of those dudes that, and I hate to say this, it sounds terrible. Never really looked like much of an athlete,
No.
but you're right, brother. Like if it was a big game, that dude on the hill made you feel good. You didn't want to be facing him. You would much rather him be your pitcher. He
100.
was he was the epitome of a gamer. I think he's one of those guys that because of the personality and because of the way he portrayed himself, I don't think people give him enough credit. That dude had some stuff. Like he wasn't just some
Mhm.
jackleg going out there throwing 89 and painting corners. Curt Schilling could bring it. Curt Schilling had some nasty stuff. On top of that, with his mentality and his aggressiveness and his willing to just bear down and go get them, he was a fun dude to watch. I hate that he was a Philly and a Red Sox. I can't stand either one of those teams. But no, Curt Schilling that's a good quality number 38, my man.
With the Red Sox, he had, Pedro to pitch with him, and then he went to Arizona and he had Randy Johnson pitch. So he's been surrounded by some talent. That's a 1-2 punch that would terrify a lot of people. I know it would me. I mean, that's you go into it back then, I believe they had those 3-game series as if you're in the wild card. you got to face Pedro, then you got to face Kurt, or you got to face Kurt, then you got to face Randy Johnson. No, that's pass on that. That's I started out the program singing "Hard to Handle" because I'm sure I know how to mess around. The Black Crows. Greg, are you a Black Crows fan?
I will tell you, and this may or may not come as a surprise. She Talks to Angels is one of my favorite
Said she
songs of
talks
all
to
time.
angels. Says she calls them out by their name. Okay, she does that.
That is a song that, and you know, my happy place is sitting on the front porch of my cabin up in the Blue Ridge Mountains in North Georgia, and I'm telling you, we got some friends of ours that go up there with us a couple of times a year, and we have a little ceremony where at least one night we'll stay up late and we'll just all get out of their porch, just playing tunes and going all night long. She Talks to Angels is absolutely on the playlist every time we have one of those nights. That is a great song. Big fan of the Black Crows, if for no other reason than that song alone.
Cannot deny their talent. Chris Robinson, and not only did he, what's that chick that
Young Heather Graham, he did well for himself.
oh, he did that. I thought he dated what's the chick from Hudson, Kate Hudson. Didn't he
Yeah,
do
that's who it was. It was Kate Hudson. Heather
Kate
Graham was the
Hudson?
new Kate Hudson. You're right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Young
So I
Kate. It
mean,
was a young Kate Hudson back in the
yeah,
90s.
listen. Kudos, my friend. Kudos. But the Black Crows, like we said, talent undeniable, but boy, they're ruffling some feathers now. They are trying to get on that train of let's hate on everything America wise. Somewhat. I don't know if you saw, but they were performing a couple nights ago and they had a big in Florida of all places, the free state of Florida. And they showed, I guess, one of their album covers has like Uncle Sam on there with like a crow and he's got a hat on. Apparently, they started when they showed that on the big screen, everyone started yelling USA, USA, USA. Well, they got a little upset about that, did the Black Crows, and they didn't understand why they were doing that. And they said, I don't know why you're so proud of that. What are you so proud of? And that doesn't bode well for the folks of Florida or the any American. It shouldn't in general. And they started booing.
It's I mean, it's just another example and we sound so terribly cliche when we say this, but that really is the singular policy feature of the left right now is hating America, hating anything we've done. They can take no pride in the country, but they can take pride in sin and celebrate that. I just don't get it. And it's you know, the further we go down this path, you almost just have to accept the fact that I think they are just trying to sow constant negativity to just completely dismantle and disrupt anything that's been built so they can take control and build it the way they want it.
Don't understand if why the America saying USA or the American flag has turned into a Republican symbol. It's an everybody symbol. Everybody should be proud of the USA. Everybody should be proud of the American flag. I don't that's
David,
a problem if your party is not associated with the American
David,
flag.
we are this close to the American flag starting to be treated like the Confederate flag. I'm telling you,
You're not wrong.
the American flag will soon be a symbol of racism if the left has its way.
You're not wrong, and that is shameful in its own right. That's a it's mind-boggling, but they went on to say, like, "Thanks for the geography lesson," kinda mocking the fact that they were saying USA, and then they got on there and they saw people leaving, and they booed, obviously, then when they made that comment, people started leaving, he's like, "I don't know why you booing." He said, "We are not ignorant," talking about themselves, and he said, "We are just not afraid to stand for what we believe in," or something along those lines. I'm like, yeah. Okay, that's great, but it works both ways, my friend. We can have our own free speech as well. So I don't know why anybody it's in a situation like that would use their platform to try to preach people. And my sister-in-law actually went to the concert when it was in Atlanta and said that before this even became a controversy, she put out there that this is something that they were doing. They were going around making a big political statement with it. It's like, just play your music. I mean, I hate to be that way, but my gosh.
No, and I have jokingly addressed it on yesterday and today's episode of my show. Like I get the irony of I'm sitting in front of my computer screen recording myself on a microphone in the
Heard
hopes
that.
that somebody will hear this voice and pay attention to it. I get the irony of me saying, like, look, shut up and play your music, shut up and
I
dribble.
did
We
listen
don't
to
care
that this
about this
morning.
stuff. But to some degree, we have to get to this point and go, look, man, Chris Robinson and the Black Crows. Honest to God, I love the music. I don't give two shits what they think politically and don't need to know it. I'll go to a concert and enjoy the show, but now I won't. That's the thing. And you know, you go back to whether it's the Bud Light boycott and all this stuff. The only way we're ever going to really make a stand and get our point across is to boycott with our wallets, and it's just going to be to bite the bullet and stop supporting Disney, stop supporting anybody that goes hard to the left. And you know, we're getting there with some right leaning streams. You know, you got some entertainment sources like the Daily Wire and Rumble, and people are trying to compete with the media side of things. But yeah, at the end of the day, I think it's just, you know, we're so blessed and we live in such a convenient society, and it's so easy to just sit back and enjoy everything that is provided and so easy for us to enjoy. But no, like you said, you know, at the end of the day, this makes me less of a fan of the Black Crows. Now, will I sit on the porch and still play She Talks to Angels? Probably. But that'll probably be the only song I listen to from them.
Yeah. I mean, look, Bruce Springsteen, I've never been a huge fan, but I definitely wouldn't go to a concert, mainly because they say he'll perform like 3.5 hours, which kudos at your age, my friend, that's a big deal. But half of it is just giving a speech on political biases and whatnot and what he believes in this and that about blue collar workers. I'm like, bro, okay, I get it. You from New Jersey, but you ain't never had a blue collar job. You've been rich for a long time. People had to pay $800 to come to your concert. Don't come to me about the middle class when they're having to spend 2 weeks' pay to come to one concert. Jeez Louise.
The amount of times I have heard in my life "Born in the USA" played in some sort of patriotic freedom fighting as some sort of theme, and people go, "Have you heard the song? Do you know what he's singing about? Do you
I
know who
know.
this guy is?" Bruce Springsteen, "Born in the USA" was not a patriotic "I Love America" song.
No, it
He
was talking
look,
about the yellow man.
yeah, I'm sorry, man, and I know people get tired of hearing it, and it's definitely a consistent theme coming out of my mouth, but it's just getting harder and harder to even want to pay attention to anything coming from that side. And you know, when you can take a step back and you feel like you're kind of seeing things and processing the world around you pretty clearly, you know, it's like you and I joked about it or kind of half joked about it. Like, I know for a fact I'm not racist, but I know that people around us make it really damn hard to stay that way these days. Like, I know the things I believe. I know I don't want all these things that the left says I want. I know I am not who they're projecting us, you know, the right folks and the MAGA folks to be. We're not that. I know we're not that. And the problem is we've been trying to sell that to the other side for 5, 6 years now. They're not listening to us any more than we're listening to them. And that's where we're going to have a problem, because whether it's the political stuff, the racial stuff, the cultural stuff with all the LGBT, at some point we're just going down a path. They go, we are getting further and farther apart, and nobody shows any signs of backing down or being willing to come to the other side.
You're right. And I'll say this. I stand by Glory Days. Glory Days is still a good song, Bruce
Good
Springsteen.
tune.
Kudos to you, my friend. He can do that speedball by ya.
I will
Back
share
in
this
high
for the
school.
for the for the
Wow, that's
listening
hard to
audience,
even sing like
David.
that.
Without question, one of my favorite musical artists of all time is John Mellencamp. Like, I love John
Yeah.
Mellencamp music. That dude has produced more good songs than he will ever get credit for. But that dude is an absolute flaming libtard, and he is left of left. And I can't stand to hear the son of a gun talk, but I love his music.
Richard Marx, also same way. Richard Marx, a big leftist, but boy, wherever you go, whatever you do, I will be right here
See, that's
waiting
that's why I
for you.
love you, David. I was
I
I
like
was
those old. I like a love song, Greg,
I was hesitant to admit being a Mellencamp fan, and then
and I'll
Lord, you
make it
made me
worse.
you made me feel so much better by starting to sing Richard Marx. There we go. That's why
Richard
you my boy,
Marx
Dave.
is listen. Daisy Fuentes likes him. He's married
That's
to
why you
Daisy
my boy.
Fuentes.
You will always make me
Richard
feel like a
Marx.
man.
Just saying. You know, he wrote "God Must Spend a Little More Time on You" by NSYNC. Just saying, and it shows. I think that's it. No, this I promise you. Hell, I don't know. One of the songs, but anyways, Richard Marx, talented man, talented man. Not the best when it comes to politics, but then again, the beautiful thing about us, Greg, is we don't care. It's
David,
okay. You have
it,
different views.
it is, but it's just getting so hard. Like, did you see the latest Jill Biden on her book tour and some of the shit she's
Gosh.
been saying about after the debate? Like, she's now coming out saying that she legitimately, and we talked about it. She would thought maybe he was having a stroke. We heard her just after the damn debate talking about how good you did. Like, it's all just so hollow and clearly fake that you just, I don't know, man. It's just getting harder and harder every day to even listening to and try to process this because you're going, I she literally said, I'd never seen it before and never seen it again. I go, you're his wife.
It's a
You, in
lie.
theory, kind of live with the guy. I go, we've
Yes.
all seen it. I don't live with the guy, and I have seen him act like a damn vegetable. Don't tell me you like. I don't know, dude. It's just when people become so detached and unplugged from reality and truth and facts, you end up with what we end up with here. And I mean, look, the beauty of it is the reason you and I have podcasts and have shit to talk about because the world's going completely crazy. So it gives us a chance to have some content. But you just got to ask yourself, like, what are we doing here? Like, how many people are willingly and knowingly putting content out for public consumption that they know is complete and total bullshit?
They should be shameful. They should have been shameful for running Joe Biden the second term. They knew he wasn't capable of that. They know they saw it, and she's lying and saying I didn't see it before and I hadn't seen it since. BS. You just like being the first lady. And I get it. Who wouldn't? You ain't got to overweight in traffic. You get to go to Delaware on the beach every weekend, leave early Thursday and stay gone all weekend and spend more vacation time than nearly anybody. But why wouldn't you? It's a
Except for
good
me.
life. You get he's cream by four, except for Greg. He's got a President Biden schedule without the Secret Service protection. But also Frankie Valley, the guy that's they throwing out there so often. He's going to take some time away from performing. I'm like, you should have. It's sad to see him get propped up out there, clearly not even lip singing. He's just barely moving his mouth, and you want us to think he sounds like he did in the 50s. Shameful on them for propping him out there just for a paycheck. I don't know who would go watch it. Some people obviously do, but you're looking at him to just stand up there. And that was basically what Biden was doing in the presidency. So to have them try to run for a second term, shameful on the family. Family's profiting on. Let the people rest. Joe Biden should have rested. He should have not even had to worry about trying to run for president that second term. But I don't know.
No, I mean, and again, we're about to be facing it again. Like, Lord knows who they're going to come up with. I gave you my prediction of who I think they're going to try to trot out there in 2028. I mean, you look at the bullpen, you look at the roster of potential candidates that could come out of the Democratic leadership, and holy shit, dude! I don't see two people they could put together that I could even go to the ballot box thinking, well, you know what? I'm pulling from outside clearly, but we'll probably be okay if this is no, dude, I'm scared to death of what may happen. Like, this James Tallarico dude down in Texas, man, some of these cats are like, they're not even like trying to hide the football anymore. They are
Tallarico,
flat out.
that's shocking in Texas that he's getting any kind of traction. What has turned into Texas? Austin getting popular and all these Hollywood lefts moving to Joe Rogan, bringing basically California to Texas is not doing us any favors in this regard. Because,
Well, and
man,
you speak of
how you gonna
California,
run
dude.
him?
I'm glad Spencer Pratt, and I'm glad
That's
that
one of the topics I
Hilton
was
made
gonna
it
get
the
on.
governor, so we at least have a governor and a mayor of LA option on the ticket out there. But I mean, the fact that people out there are still even willing to consider a vote for Karen Bass is beyond me.
Don't
Like,
get it.
the fact that you
I
could
don't get
possibly,
it.
after nearly a decade of what Gavin Newsom has done to that beautiful state, the fact that they're even considering continuing down the path of Democratic policies. Again, you look at it and you just go, these people are brainwashed. These people are just not in touch with reality, and they're just falling for the stupidest, most asinine bullshit. And the
I don't
Democrats are
get it.
staying in power out there.
I don't understand it. I don't get it. But Spencer Pratt currently in second place. He's got a runoff coming up where he's going to try to hold on to that lead, which I think he will. But Karen Bass has actually made the list to be one of the primary contenders in Los Angeles for the mayor. I wonder if we're going to do any more debates because that is where Spencer Pratt shines is in debates because he don't give a damn. and that's he is his facial features when they're talking is hilarious. I give him he's been watching Trump in that regard, and he comes out and says, "Listen, I'm not necessarily a Trump guy, but if y'all want to make me that way, then screw it, I'll do it." He's just wanting to make the city better. He,
Well, and they were supposed to have a couple of more debates, and Cynthia Rahman and or Nithya Rahman and Karen Bass both backed out and said they weren't doing anymore. And
I
then
don't blame him.
I still, man, I don't. Again, you chalk it up and file it away in the category of things that are hard to even believe they're real. I heard it with my own ears and I saw it with my own eyes. I mean, she literally in front of a microphone and a camera said that we need to provide comprehensive health care so the homeless people can get their teeth fixed because meth rotting out their teeth is the reason that they are on the street and not successful. Yeah, that's on the list, but that's way down the list.
It is
But
way
that is
down the list.
that her proposed solution to the massive homelessness problem in LA was we need comprehensive cosmetic dental care provided by the taxpayers so the homeless meth crackheads can get their teeth fixed and then possibly have a better shot at being successful. That's
If
all they need
my
is some teeth.
if my upstairs bathroom has a leak and is draining into the floor in my living room, wouldn't do me any good to just go start fixing the floor in my living room because the upstairs is still leaking. It's just going to happen the same situation. Don't fix the people's teeth if they're just going to keep doing meth. Like, how about we get them
Hell,
off meth first?
this is more like you walking up there with a toilet brush just trying to make sure the toilet bowl's shiny after it's busted and leaking.
Yeah.
Like what? I don't even know how people take that stuff seriously. Like this was like this is the current mayor of the second biggest city in America being asked a legitimate question about a legitimate problem, and that was her answer. Her answer was we need comprehensive taxpayer funded dental care for the homeless population.
I don't know much about Spencer Pratt. I didn't watch his show when he was on. I think it was it the
That's hard
Hills
to
or
believe.
Laguna Beach? You telling me? I'm as shocked as anybody because all the stuff I watch, but for some reason that one never struck my fancy and I never watched it. But you got to give him props because him and his wife Heidi, I guess they've been together for this long in Hollywood terms and reality show terms. That's basically a lifetime. So they've been A1 since day one. So got to give them props in
Just
that
from what
regard.
little bit I recall from the show, I mean, being in LA, being in Hollywood and all that, I mean, that's a testament to their love and success anyway, but just watching them in high school, like that dude was an arrogant prick for anybody to have put up with him for this long is pretty impressive. And
Yeah. Well, supposedly he said that he had a role to play and he played that role. So obviously it was reality, but
well,
everybody has to
and
have that.
again, we have all become keenly aware, especially here lately, how easy it is for things to be taken out of context. And look, I'm sure if you follow me around with a camera 24 hours a day, you can make me out to be whoever you want me to make. Like, cause I will put enough out there for you to make me the nicest, cleanest guy in the world or an arrogant, narcissistic a-hole. I can be either one. And the truth is I'm likely a little bit of both, but I get it. And that was his role to play. But I just respect the freshness and the transparency with which he's trying to approach this and going, I'm not a politician. I don't know the answers to all this stuff, but I got some common sense, which we appreciate on this show. I got some common sense and I realized that what's been happening ain't working. We need to try something different. I am a big believer in that proponent. And I have had these conversations with people. Professionally, I have been in situations sometimes where I kind of had to tell somebody, go, look, we've all heard the saying, when you're a hammer, everything looks like a nail. Well, I have worked for some hammers in my life and I have had to remind them, I am not a nail. It just doesn't work like that for me. When you see people consistently push the same button over and over again and get the same response over and over again and not like it, but keep pushing the same button, you just got to ask yourself, well, are you a fucking idiot? Like, is that what we're dealing with here? Like, try something different. And that's all. Common sense says, California, try something different.
Forrest kept voting for the hammer or voting for the axe because his handle was made out of wood. Just saying.
Amen.
I mean, that's how it goes. Spencer Pratt is a bit of a prima donna, or was, as you said. And speaking of prima donna, have you seen? I don't even know if you played or ever played Madden football, Greg. Have you played Madden?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Have you
I
seen
had
who the new cover athlete is? And it doesn't bode well for the teams who end up being the cover because the
No,
Madden curse is real.
yeah, I'm very familiar with the Madden cover jinx. Now, for a good stretch there back in my college days to probably a decade or so out of college, Madden, NCAA football, and Tiger Woods were purchased every year. Those 3
Yep,
games, I purchased the
without
new
question.
version
Yep.
every year. But no, I haven't seen who's on the cover. I have
Well,
just gotten away from it. I keep thinking every now and then I might go buy a new system and start trying to play video games again, but I know I won't do it. It's been a long time. But who's on the cover? Who's got the jinx this
well, I
year?
said prima donna, so think that and think painted fingernails,
Mm, man,
which is
well,
weird
prima
when I've
donna
seen
doesn't
it.
narrow it down in the NFL.
That's a good point. That's a good
Painted
point.
fingernails. God, I know I should know this. I'm drawing a
Let's
blank.
just say that the Bears are going to be struggling this year,
Caleb.
possibly.
I do remember the
Caleb
nail story.
Williams, I will say he looked good towards the end of last season. I was questioning him coming out, but I got to give him props. He started throwing the ball well. And Chicago is one of those easy teams to root for, even though I have no affiliation whatsoever. But I think Walter Payton, I think Mike Singletary, I think Dick Buckus. So I want to root for Chicago. Now, what Mike Wilbon makes me not want to because I'm getting sick of his played out takes. But Caleb Williams is the latest Madden cover athlete. I think it came out today, a couple hours ago. You already said you won't be buying it. I won't be buying it either because my kids have yet to really get into sports games, but we will have it on Game Pass when it comes out later. But if I were to buy it, Caleb Williams wouldn't exactly excite me on there, but I can't think of anybody else who hasn't been on there yet.
No, I mean he would be kind of a trendy pick. You know, he
Yeah.
is he's been kind
He's
of
good
a
enough.
polarizing figure for a guy who
Yeah.
hadn't been around long, even in college with the transfer and the things like. But I tell you what, man, we were in on his recruitment out of high school, and so I've watched the kid for feels like a decade now, and he's got that ability. And I want to draw the parallel. It kind of reminds me sort of like a Joe Burrow, where you can't necessarily put your finger on it, but son of a gun, he just makes some plays that you just find yourself going, I ain't sure a whole lot of guys got that play in them, and he
Well, that
pulled it off
playoff
and made it
game
look
last
pretty
year towards
easy.
the end, the last seconds. Wow, that was a
The-
major league play, and I think
Yeah,
that's probably what got him to cover. To be honest,
Caleb
with you, that
Williams
last game.
undoubtedly has. I mean, the guy's got Hall of Fame talent and potential. Being quarterback for the Bears is probably not the best situation for him, or based on the last 30 years or so, you would say that. Yeah, you know, it'll be interesting because because of his polarizing nature and kind of that prima donna status and some of the things he's put out there. If he falls on his face and the Madden jinx, and it will be made into a thing because of him. So maybe he can reverse the curse and put together a good year. We can pull for him.
The Bears, even though they had the most dominant team of all time, I say, in the '85 Bears, I mean, they should have went undefeated easily. Ironically, the Dolphins beat them the last game of the season. But the best team ever when it comes defense, when you ask me, but never have had a strong quarterback ever. Even then, Jim McMahon was not what you'd call a high elite quarterback. Rex Grossman had 1 or 2 seasons decently, but outside of that, never had a big quarterback. So Caleb Williams might be their best chance at having a pretty high statured quarterback, a top 5 quarterback in the league, because I don't even know if they've ever had a top 5 quarterback.
No, and it's it's weird to say this, but because it's been so long now, but the NFL as a whole will be a better product if the Chicago Bears could be relevant and a
Yes, you
good
got
team.
it.
I mean, that is
I hate
a
the Knicks,
franchise
but they
that's
need. I'm glad they're in the finals. Makes me want to
yeah.
watch.
The
There's
Bears is
certain
a
teams.
franchise with the history and the legacy. You know, you got to get Butkus and Ditka and those guys. The Bears need to be relevant. So let's pull for them. The NFL is a better place when the major markets are performing well, and Chicago is absolutely a major football market.
I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna do my best not to get excited, Greg, about those Falcons coming up because I've been burned so many damn times. But it is comforting knowing that we will have a one Drake London for an extended amount of time. He signed a 4-year, $141 million extension. Numbers are getting crazy in football. Something's got to happen. But I'm glad it is because for the longest time, they didn't seem to get paid what they were worth.
No, and I think Drake's one of those guys that you kind of see both angles. The new contract cannot be based on production; it is based on potential. And
And
and again, and
he's
that's the
played
scary
well.
part
He's
because
played well. He's had some numbers.
he has played well, but 5 years for 140 is like that's game changing receiver, and he's not to me. He has not produced at that level yet. That's the kind of guy where, and again, part of it's because he hadn't had to. They've got some other weapons with Bijan gets a lot of
Potential is
focus
there
and
for
things.
sure. And if you add Bijan, who's playing good, that opens up Drake London. He's got zero help from Kyle Pitts, I say, except for this a little bit this year. So
The
he's
the
had to carry this
concern
team.
the concern is, and again, you got to follow the market. You gotta kind of stick with the trends of what's happening and what's working. And wide receiver has quickly become a dominant and a very valued position in the NFL. And I think you're in the point of I don't think they would have wanted to pay him that much, but you can't let that kind of guy walk because he is the kind of guy who, over the next 3 or 4 years, could be one of the top 5 or 6 receivers in the league. And at that point, if you let him walk and he does that for somebody else, you'd never hear the end of it. But he is that kind of guy also that I think 3 or 4 years from now, you could still be paying out this contract if you hadn't cut him and going, man, we should not have given him that money.
I think it's going to be one
I
of
could see
those
it going
where
either way.
if you were to let him go, then he would blow up. And I think the Philadelphia Eagles may be doing that same thing because they let one A.J. Brown go to the Patriots. Did you see that?
I did.
Yeah,
Where are
that's
we on the Miles Garrett trade? I heard he was
Myles
traded and
Garrett
then
was
failed the
traded
physical with
to
but then he can't
oh, I didn't hear that.
I don't know if who knows what's
How
true
the
anymore.
hell does Myles Garrett fail a physical? Have you seen that freak? That
Yeah,
man
I
is
don't know
a
if it's true. It could have been
that
something on
man
X that
is a
wasn't.
specimen. I thought what is the chance of him and the old boy for the Raiders that time failing that physical and went to the like we're talking about freak athletes. What physical is Myles Garrett failing? Jeez Louise. But
Yeah,
Myles Garrett is going if it all went through to the Rams, and the Rams just keep reloading, man. They older talent, but resurgence. Stafford out there, you got Garrett. I mean, we'll see.
Well, and that's 2 physical freaks, AJ Brown and Miles Garrett. And man, you see a guy like AJ Brown and you just can't help but wonder, go, why can't that guy just get along and just play the game and be a part of a team? Like, and whether it's AJ Brown or Antonio Brown or like wide receivers are
There's
divas, we
prima
all know
donnas.
it.
Terrell
And look,
Owens.
they get that reputation for a reason. It is earned and deserved. But that guy is another one of those that just all world potential could absolutely. There may not be a better third down receiver in the game than AJ Brown when he's focused and when he's locked in because he's just fast enough that you can't cover him, just big enough and strong enough you can't. He is a terrible matchup, but again, he is also seems to be a locker room cancer, and I don't know that he's going to stick around long in the Patriots either.
Ridiculous prima donnas like that at wide receiver just extend or make light even how much better Larry Fitzgerald types, Calvin Johnson, Marvin Harrison's, those guys do not get the credit they deserve because they have just exemplify professionalism, just went about their job the right way, did it everything correctly. And I think that's what Drake London is. He seems to be that type where he's not that prima donna. So that's why I'm happy about that. But AJ Brown, like you said, talent for days. But boy, you can't even get along with Jalen Hurts of all people. Jalen Hurts looks like he's the nicest guy ever. I don't know how can we
He
not get along with Jalen Hurts.
he does, but I and I'm a big Jalen Hurts fan as a dude. I'm not a big Jalen Hurts fan as a quarterback.
Well, I wonder
I
why.
I I can make the argument in defense of AJ Brown that if I was a guy who got paid to catch passes and Jalen Hurts was my quarterback, I might get a little frustrated at times because it's hard for me to do my job when my quarterback's not the most accurate or best passer out in the game. He brings a lot of other skills to the table that make him a winner. I get that dynamic, but still, it we live in an individualistic world, but sports is still a team game. And if you can't make it work on a team like the Eagles had, and you can't get along in that locker room with what they built, like I know half that team's from Athens, Georgia. I know those dudes are good guys. Like
That's
that's an easy team to like. There's a bunch of good guys on there. Good luck to him in New England, and him and Drake may maybe get along better than him and Jalen did.
it pisses me off that all the dogs go into Philadelphia because Philadelphia, for some reason, one of those teams I want to just not like. Much like the Phillies. Maybe it's my Phillies hate rolling over, but I don't want to like Philly. And you getting all the damn dogs up there. Like, thank goodness they starting to move away. But a lot of big moves. Football's coming around. It's making you realize how close we are getting to football. Whatever moves with it. I think that's mainly the big moves that have taken place recently. You pointed out the fact if you listen to Baloof's Ballots and Bulldogs, Greg has a countdown to when football starts. And the other day he had one talking about number, was it 95? And one
95 was yesterday.
Bill Goldberg. You went on this whole Bill Goldberg soliloquy. I was like, Greg, look at you getting all your wrestling info. But he was throwing out the fact that we had 95 days as of yesterday till Bulldog football. And he went on Bill Goldberg, who didn't do jack squat. Not the best wrestler. Nobody liked him other than the fans. He got bought into his own hype. But when he came out there with that music and the getting followed by the police and all that, it's hard not to get hype. Hard not to get hype. And today, Greg, we got 94 days till kickoff. I didn't see as a show came out today, Beliefs, Ballots, and Bulldogs.
Yeah, it's out there. We went with the older dude. We went guy back for shortly after I graduated, early 2000. Went with Quentin Moses. Quentin was a big defensive end out of Athens, honestly enough. He hung around for a few years. He was a part of the team that beat LSU in 2005 for the SEC title. Quentin's the legacy for Q was he actually passed away though. He died trying to save other people in a house fire back in around 2017 or so. So sad story. Early 30s, dude I think he was coaching somewhere at a small level college or high school as a coach, and again, it's. You hope that you all hope as a man that you can leave behind a legacy and leave behind some sort of memories that you did something, and trying to save lives as you pass is one of the best ways I could think of to have that sort of memory. So damn good dog. God bless him and his family. But at 94 was Quentin Moses, and then we talked a little bit about current players. We got a guy who transferred a couple of years back from South Carolina. Xavier McLeod is this year's number 94, and he's going to be one of those that. As a Georgia fan, you'll know his name. You'll see him on the field. You'll recognize
his name.
He's going to flash a little bit on the defensive line. He's going to make some big plays, but he'll be a third or fourth round draft pick. He won't be a well-known name across the landscape of college football. But number 94 this year, Xavier McLeod, if he stays healthy, he is going to be a consistent player on the D line that we're gonna hear his name called more than a few times.
You never want to go out early, but going out early, trying to save people's lives, that is an honorable way to go. So R.I.P. Quentin Moses, and get excited for football. Greg, the Beliefs, Ballots, and Bulldogs is going well. I'm listening. I love the fact that you pointed out the hypocrisy of you saying not everybody needs to hear your opinion and all that, as I'm giving you my opinion on a podcast.
Yeah,
but your point was well taken, in the fact that sometimes just back away. Like, you ain't got to get into everything. You don't have to start quarrels with everybody. Sometimes the best word is the no word. I talk about it in baseball. Sometimes the best throw you make as a catcher or a pitcher is the ones you don't throw. So you ain't got to throw over every time. You ain't got to try to throw back every time. So
I playfully mentioned on a couple of the last few episodes that whenever the daily devotionals start to come up with a consistent theme or a pattern, I start noticing you start to kind of feel like, all right, God, what are you trying to tell me here? And I feel like over the last week to week and a half, I have had more than my share of daily devotionals that have revolved around kind of that discipline and discernment and kind of more so on being selective and being careful with the choices. And as someone who has a bit of a quick wit and a sharp tongue and likes to just go ahead and throw shit out there as soon as it pops into my mind, I'm trying to slow things down a little bit. And if I'm going to tell everybody else to be aware of that sort of thing, then I can't be a total hypocrite. I got to participate in my own advice.
Make sure you check it out. Beliefs, Ballots, and Bulldogs. That's it. Episode 38 in the books of Common Sense Superheroes. Thanks for listening. Thanks for checking us out. Thanks for following us. All that good stuff. Greg, as always, leave us with a good word.
I think we'll try to get in a little episode of Weird Friends tomorrow with Matt if we can
Yeah.
get the logistics worked out. I don't know. I think I'm gonna not have him tell us what the topic is. I'm gonna let it be a complete surprise to me and you when we get on tomorrow.
Listen,
But other than that, no, we do appreciate you guys. Like I said, we love the engagement. Whatever we can do to make this show more enjoyable and a bigger part of y'all getting into it and listening to us regularly. If you want us to talk about certain topics or certain things, just let us know. Get on the social media and let us know. Other than that, like, share, subscribe, do all the things. And as always, love each other, tell the truth, get in your Bibles and say your prayers. God bless.
amen. Peace.